Good afternoon, Professor. So this is my final project, and please forgive my attire. I just got off of work, but whenever you presented us with the information about the final project and what it was going to consist of, I pretty much immediately knew that the company I would do would be Starbucks. And there wasn't any hesitation on my part about that decision because they're one of my favorite companies. And the CEO, I've done a little research on, and I just know that he's not a greedy CEO. He runs an awesome business, and I think that kind of shows all around the country in different Starbucks, their atmosphere and what they do. So that's what we're going to do the presentation on today. As I said, in my opinion, Starbucks is one of the most ethical companies around. The examples you gave, what to look for, the social responsibility, the customer treatment, the leadership, treatment of employees, those are all things that I feel like Starbucks as a whole excels in. And I mean, when I think about it, I don't think I've ever actually heard anybody comment negatively about Starbucks. Of course, one exception to that might be their prices on some things, but then again, you also get what you pay for, and they really sell a great product. So that's why people consistently pay those prices on a daily basis, including me. Not every day, but I'm certainly in there quite a bit. So and not only am I a huge fan of all their products, I'm also a huge fan of their customer service and their friendly staff. Pretty much every time that I've went in there, it's been a great experience. They make conversation with you. They care about you. You get the feeling that they care about you, which is awesome. So it's not just their products that make them a great company. It's also their staff and everything else. So, and another reason that I chose them is I really like the idea of how they started. How they started out back in Seattle, just one company in 1971. March 31st, 1971, when they opened their first store. It was just one store, and to think about that and what it's grown into today, that whole idea of what they've come from and how they started, that to me is a pretty good example of what the American dream is. So that's another reason that I chose them, and not to say that the company is limited to the United States, because the company first went global in 1996 whenever it opened its first international store in Tokyo. And basically from that point on, from 1996 on, they have just been exploding all across the globe, 24,000 stores in 70 countries to be exact. And their overseas properties actually make up about 1/3 of all its stores now. So it's not just limited to America. It seems like the whole globe has basically become hooked on Starbucks, because their international stores are highly successful as well. And from that point forward in 1996, it's not just an American thing. It's all over the world, and it's really awesome to think, where they've come from, starting that one store. And like I said, their overseas properties make up 1/3 of all its stores, so they're thriving everywhere right now. And also, speaking about their growth, between 1987 and 2007, the store opened an average of 2 new locations each and every day. So for 20 straight years, 20 consecutive years, every day 2 new stores were opening. I mean, that's awesome when you think about that. Those numbers are staggering, and the success of this company is really mind-blowing. So, having said that, I want to go back to the beginning that I already mentioned. They were first opened in Seattle, Washington on March 31st, 1971 by 3 partners who met while they were students at the University of San Francisco. Their names were English teacher Jerry Baldwin, history teacher Zev Seigel, and writer Gordon Boker. And basically the 3 of them were inspired to sell premium coffee beans after they had met this guy named Alfred Peet, who was a coffee roaster, and he was a coffee entrepreneur. He owned a lot of modern equipment, and he was really a good entrepreneur in the business of roasting and everything. So the three of them had met Alfred Peet and basically learned the ropes from him. And once the three of them had seen, what it all consisted of, they kind of got hooked on the art of roasting, and they were inspired to open a store, basically. So that's exactly what they did in 1971 after Alfred Peet had taught them, basically everything they needed to know. The three of them basically just had to get their loans and stuff to get the first store open and get the equipment and to get all that good stuff. So that's exactly what they did. And from 1971 to 1976, the first Starbucks was located at 2000 Western Avenue. In 1976, it was relocated to 1912 Pike Place, where it still remains today. And during the first 5 years of their operation, they only sold whole bean coffee, and they only offered brewed samples from time to time. So it wasn't like it is today, where you buy cups of coffee. For 5 years, they basically only sold whole beans. All right, so getting into the basically the guidelines that you had mentioned, what to look for with the social responsibility, the customer treatment, the leadership, and the treatment of employees. I want to talk a little bit about their treatment of employees. Now, I already had a pretty good idea that Starbucks treats their employees pretty good just by casual conversation while I was there. And I learned, before even doing this research for this project, I learned that employees are offered insurance benefits, them and their families, pretty much to all employees. Any employee working 20 hours or more is allowed to have benefits, which is awesome. You don't really hear about that very much these days. You pretty much got to be working 40 plus to get insurance. So that was awesome, and I already knew that, but I also found out quite a bit of other things as I researched this. It really blew my mind to find some of these things out. For instance, they have what's known as the special blend package for employees. And again, it's for employees who work 20 or more hours a week. So they offer the 401k with the full company matching up to 6%. They offer the quarterly bonuses and discounted stock purchase options. They have adoption assistance. And as an employee, they enjoy free Starbucks at any location on or off the clock. Now, that's pretty awesome. I've worked at some places where you get 50% off while on the clock and things like that, but to be able to me, that's a pretty awesome perk, as well as the benefits, obviously, but you can tell that company cares about their employees. So I saved the best for last when it comes to the treatment of the employees. The CEO, Howard Schultz, knew that about 70% of his employee base in America are students or aspiring students, so he started a program known as the Starbucks College Achievement Plan, and this offers 100% tuition coverage to all benefit eligible employees, full-time and part-time. So again, with the 20 plus hours a week, and basically what it is they partnered with Arizona State University, and they offer the 100% tuition coverage, and that is absolutely amazing to me. As you can see with my shirt and hat, I work for Spirit Aerosystems, and they do offer tuition reimbursement where I'm at, but it's only $7,000 per year, and that's reimbursement. So it's after I pay my part and get at least a B grade in my classes, then they reimburse the full amount up to $7,000 a year. With Starbucks, they pay 100% of everything at Arizona State University, so that's pretty awesome. And so now, briefly, I want to get into the leadership of Starbucks. As I mentioned, the benefits that they offer are unreal. The CEO, Howard Schultz, is the primary reason of all the benefit employees are eligible for. For this project, I read several interviews with Howard about this, and he seems like a very ethical man that wants to take care of his family and run a respectable business, which he does. And actually, one interview that I read was in which Oprah interviewed Howard, and Howard had said that, quote unquote, He likes coffee, but that is not the reason why he went into a business related to serving it. He said that his passion is about building a company that is focused on treating people with respect and dignity. This is the vision of Starbucks. So to me, that doesn't sound like a man who's driven by profit motive, which is really awesome. He seems really genuine and really cares about his employees and really cares about succeeding as an ethical business and as a business in general. What he's done with the company, really shows that. It's one thing to talk the talk, but he really walks the walk, and he takes care of his employees. He makes sure that they remain ethical. Once again, going back to the reason that I chose Starbucks, they seem to excel in every aspect of being ethical. So I'm at 11 minutes now. I know you wanted 8 to 10. I still have some more notes here. I could have kept going, but yeah, Starbucks all around, to me, is a perfect example of an ethical company. So thank you very much, Professor, for this class. Thank you for all your input with the homework. I got a lot out of this class, and I really do appreciate your feedback on all the assignments and with the APA and with everything. So it's been a great experience. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.